The pink overnight bag wasn't mine, and when I found it sitting on our bed, 7 months pregnant, back aching, feet swollen, I knew my life was about to shatter. Inside, lace underwear, a toothbrush, makeup in shades
This is
I'd never
unacceptable.
wear.
I want
All
every
belonging
resource
to her,
focused on the exchange
his
tomorrow.
24-year-old
If anything
assistant,
happens to her, you
the
will answer
woman
to me
he'd been
directly.
seeing for 6 months while I grew
You're doing
our baby.
so great, Harper.
But here's what my cheating husband
One more
didn't
big
know.
push now.
My
You can do
brother
it.
wasn't just protective, he was powerful. A billionaire with connections that could destroy careers with a single phone call. And when Brett Sullivan walked out that door, choosing his mistress over his pregnant wife, he made the biggest mistake of his life. Because what happened next?
Make a wish,
The revenge
sweetie.
was so calculated, so devastating, that his entire world collapsed. His his money, his reputation, his family's social standing, everything gone. But that's just the beginning of this story. Because when you abandon a woman at her most vulnerable, you better hope her brother isn't someone who never loses. If you want to know exactly how we made him regret everything, and I mean everything, stay until the end. Drop a comment telling me what you would have done in my situation. Smash that like button and subscribe because this revenge story has twists you won't see coming. Trust me, you don't want to miss how this ends. Let's begin. The overnight bag wasn't mine. Pink lace spilling out. I hate pink. I've always hated pink. I stood in our bedroom doorway, 7 months pregnant, my back aching, my feet swollen, and there it was, sitting on our bed like it belonged there, like she belonged there. The bag was small, designer, something I would never buy. The zipper was open just enough. Pink silk, pink lace, the kind of things young girls wear when they're trying to look sexy. The kind of things I stopped wearing when my belly got too big to see my own feet. My keys slipped from my hand. The sound echoed, metal hitting hardwood, loud in the silence. I checked my phone 3 times. Lock, unlock, lock, unlock, lock. Like maybe if I looked away and looked back, the bag would disappear. Like maybe I was seeing things, pregnancy brain, they call it. But I knew. God, I knew. My hands shook as I walked closer. Each step felt wrong, like I was trespassing in my own home, like I was the one who didn't belong here anymore. I picked up the bag. It was light, expensive leather, the kind that costs more than our monthly grocery bill. Inside, I found makeup, not my shade, too young, too bright, a toothbrush, pink, of course, underwear that definitely wasn't mine. The baby kicked, hard, like she knew something was wrong. Like she could feel my heart racing, feel my breath coming too fast. I heard his car in the driveway, the engine cut off, car door slamming, his keys jingling, all the normal sounds of him coming home. Except nothing was normal anymore. Brett walked in, he was on his phone, always on his phone these days. He looked up, saw me, saw the bag in my hands. His face changed. For 1 second, he looked guilty, then defensive, then angry. Like I was the one doing something wrong. Like I was the one who needed to explain. Harper, he said, just my name. No explanation, no excuse. Whose is this? I asked. My voice didn't sound like mine. It was too calm, too quiet. It's not what you think, he said. I almost laughed. That's what they always say, isn't it? In movies, in books, in real life when you catch them. I'm not crazy, I said. I know what I'm seeing. I know what I know. The baby kicked again, harder this time. I put my hand on my belly, protective, instinctive. She was mine. No matter what happened next, she was mine. Brett set his briefcase down. He loosened his tie, like we were having a normal conversation about his day at the office. Like there wasn't a stranger's overnight bag on our bed. We need to talk, he said. You think? The sarcasm surprised even me. I'm not usually sarcastic. I'm the understanding one, the patient one, the one who gives him space when he needs it. He sat on the edge of the bed, our bed, the bed we'd shared for 3 years, the bed where we'd made this baby growing inside me. I've been unhappy, he said, for a while now. Unhappy, I repeated. The word felt sharp in my mouth. You've been unhappy, so you what? Found someone to make you happy? It's not like that, he said. but his eyes wouldn't meet mine. He was looking at the floor, at the wall, at anything but me. Then what is it like, Brett? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're cheating on your pregnant wife. He flinched. Good. Let him flinch. Her name is Sienna, he said. She works at my office. She's my assistant. Of course she was. Of course. The cliche was almost funny. Almost. How long? I asked. Harper. How long, Brett? 6 months, he said quietly. 6 months. Half a year. While I was growing our baby. While I was planning the nursery. While I was picking out names and buying tiny clothes and imagining our future. 6 months. The room started spinning. I sat down on the chair by the window. The chair where I'd been planning to nurse our daughter, where I'd imagined holding her in the middle of the night, rocking her, singing to her. 6 months, I said. You've been lying to me for 6 months. I didn't want to hurt you, he said. You didn't want to hurt me? Brett, I'm 7 months pregnant with your child. I know, he said. I know, that's part of the problem. The problem. Our baby was a problem. What does that mean? I asked. But I already knew. Deep down, I already knew. Brett stood up. He started pacing, back and forth, like a caged animal looking for escape. I'm not ready to be a father, Harper. I thought I was. I thought I wanted this. But I don't. I'm not ready. The words hung in the air, each one a knife, each one cutting deeper. You're not ready, I said slowly, but you were ready 6 months ago when we found out. You were ready 3 months ago when we painted the nursery. You were ready last week when your mother threw us a baby shower. I was pretending, he said. I was trying to want it, but I can't do this. I stood up. My legs were shaking. Everything was shaking. But I stood up anyway. You can't do this, I repeated. You can't be a father, but you can sleep with your child assistant for 6 months. You can lie to me. You can keep living in this house, eating the dinners I make, sleeping in this bed, all while you're with her. Harper, please, get out, I said. What? Get out. Pack your things and get out. Brett looked at me like I'd slapped him, like he was the victim here, like I was being unreasonable. This is my house too, he said. Then I'll leave, I said. I'll take our daughter and I'll leave. But I won't stay here with you, not anymore. He chose. In that moment, I saw him choose. He looked at me, at my belly, at the life we'd built together, and he chose her. He chose easy. He chose young. He chose escape. I'll pack, he said. I watched him move through our room like a stranger, opening drawers, taking shirts, taking pants, taking the framed photo of us on our wedding day. That hurt worse than the rest somehow, that he wanted to take our wedding photo to her place. Leave it, I said. What? The picture. Leave it. He set it down on the dresser, face down, like he couldn't bear to look at it, like our wedding day was something to be ashamed of. 20 minutes later, he was done. 2 suitcases, his laptop bag, that pink overnight bag that started everything. He stood by the door, our front door, the door we'd walk through as newlyweds, the door I'd imagined carrying our baby through. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't answer. Sorry didn't fix anything. Sorry didn't change what he'd done. Sorry didn't make him tormented of me again. Sorry didn't make him want our baby. I'll call you, he said. We'll figure out the details. Details. Like our marriage was a business deal that needed to be dissolved. Like our daughter was a contract that needed to be negotiated. Don't, I said. Don't call me. Harper, I mean it, Brett. Don't call. Don't text. Don't show up here. I'll have my lawyer contact you. Your lawyer? He looked surprised. Like he thought I'd just accept this. Like he thought I'd wait for him to decide what happened next. Yes, my lawyer, you made your choice. Now I'm making mine. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. But no words came out. What was there to say? He left. The door closed behind him. I heard the lock click. His car started. The engine faded as he drove away. And then there was silence. I stood there in the entryway, my hand on my belly. The baby had stopped kicking, like she was waiting to see what I would do next. I walked to the nursery. The door was open. Inside, everything was ready. Crib assembled, changing tables stocked with diapers, tiny clothes hanging in the closet. We'd spent weeks getting it perfect. He'd helped paint the walls, soft yellow, because we wanted to be surprised. Boy or girl, it didn't matter. We'd love her either way. Except he didn't. He didn't love her. He didn't even want her. I sat on the floor, right there in the middle of the nursery, surrounded by all the things we'd bought together, all the plans we'd made, all the future we'd imagined. The crib still needed sheets, instructions sat on the floor, diagrams showing how to put the mobile together, how to attach the bumper pads. Simple things, things I was supposed to do with my husband, things I was supposed to do with her father. The clock on the wall ticked, loud in the quiet, ticking away the minutes, the hours, the rest of my life as a single mother. I didn't cry. I couldn't. The tears wouldn't come. I just sat there, breathing, existing, trying to figure out what to do next. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out. Cole's name on the screen, my brother, my big brother who'd always protected me, who'd never liked Brett, who'd told me at my wedding that if Brett ever hurt me, he'd make him regret it. I stared at the phone, at Cole's name. I could barely make my hand move to answer it, but I did. I answered. "Hey, sis," Cole said. His voice was warm, familiar, safe. "He left," I said. The words came out broken, raw. "What? Who left?" "Harper. What's wrong?" "Brett. He left me. He's been cheating. 6 months. With his assistant. He said he's not ready to be a father. He packed his things and he left." Silence on the other end. I could hear Cole breathing, could hear him processing, could almost hear him getting angry. "Where are you?" Cole asked. His voice had changed, colder, harder. "Home. I'm at home. Don't move. I'm coming." "Cole, you're in New York. You don't have to." "I'm coming, Harper. I'll be there in 90 minutes. Don't move. Don't do anything. I'm coming." The line went dead. Cole was coming. My brother was coming. I wasn't alone. I sat there on the nursery floor, phone in my hand, baby in my belly, future uncertain, but Cole was coming. And somehow that made breathing a little easier. The silence in the house was deafening. I'd never noticed before how many sounds Brett made. Keys on the counter, shoes by the door, his voice calling out, asking what was for dinner. All gone now, just quiet. I got up from the nursery floor. My back protested. Everything hurt these days. The baby was getting bigger, taking up more space, pressing on nerves I didn't know I had. I walked to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, stared at the food inside. I should eat. The baby needed me to eat. But the thought of food made me sick. I grabbed a bottle of water instead, closed the fridge, sat at the kitchen table. The same table where Brett and I had eaten breakfast that morning, where he'd kissed my forehead and said he'd be late tonight. Big client meeting. He'd said it so easily, the lie had rolled off his tongue like truth. How many times had he lied? How many late nights weren't actually late nights? How many business trips weren't actually business? How many times had I believed him because I wanted to, because it was easier than asking questions? My phone buzzed, a text from Brett. "I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt you." I stared at the message. Never meant to hurt me. But he did it anyway. For 6 months, he did it anyway. I didn't respond. What was there to say? Sorry didn't fix this. Sorry didn't make him love me. Sorry didn't make him want our baby. Another text came through. "Sienna understands me. She makes me feel alive." Alive. I made him feel dead, apparently. Me and our unborn daughter, we were killing him with our existence, with our needs, with our love. I typed back before I could stop myself. "I'm 7 months pregnant with your child." His response came quickly. "That's the problem. You're pregnant. You're not you anymore. Not me anymore. Because pregnancy changed me. Because growing our baby made me different, less desirable, less fun, less whatever it was he needed." I set the phone down, face down. I couldn't look at it anymore. Couldn't see his words, couldn't process what he was saying. The baby kicked, a sharp jab under my ribs. She'd been doing that more lately. The doctor said she was running out of room, getting ready to make her entrance into the world, into a world where her father didn't want her. I put both hands on my belly, felt her moving. She was so real, so alive, so wanted by me. Even if no one else wanted her, I did. I would love her enough for both of us. The doorbell rang. I looked at the clock. Only 40 minutes had passed since I called Cole. He couldn't be here yet. Not from Manhattan. I walked to the door, looked through the peephole. Margot, my best friend. She was holding a bottle of wine and a pint of ice cream. I opened the door. Cole called me, Margot said. She looked at my face, at my red eyes, at my shaking hands. Oh, honey. She set down the wine and ice cream, wrapped her arms around me, and finally the tears came, hot and fast and endless. I sobbed into her shoulder, let her hold me up, let her be strong when I couldn't be. He left, I managed to say between sobs. He's been cheating for 6 months with his assistant. He said he doesn't want the baby. He said, I'm not me anymore. He just left. Margot's arms tightened around me. She didn't say anything. She just held me. Let me cry. Let me break. When the tears finally slowed, she guided me to the couch, sat me down, went to the kitchen, came back with tissues and water and the ice cream she'd brought. I'm pregnant. I can't drink the wine, I said. My voice sounded hollow. The wine is for me, Margot said. The ice cream is for you. Mint chocolate chip, your favorite. She opened the container, handed me a spoon. I took a bite. It tasted like nothing, like cardboard. But I ate it anyway because she was watching, because she cared, because she was here. I never liked him anyway, Margot said. I almost smiled. Almost. You told me to marry him, I said. I lied. I thought you loved him. I wanted you to be happy, but I never liked him. He always seemed fake, like he was playing a part. She was right. Brett had always been performing. The perfect boyfriend, the perfect fiancé, the perfect husband, until the performance got too hard, until reality set in. What do I do? I asked. I'm 7 months pregnant. I have no job. He's been paying for everything. The house, the car, all of it. What do I do? You survive, Margot said. You take care of that baby. You let people help you, starting with your brother and me. You're not alone, Harper. You are not doing this alone. My phone rang. Cole's name flashed on the screen. I answered. I'm pulling up, Cole said. Open the door. I heard his car in the driveway, heard the door slam. Margot opened the front door. Cole walked in, still in his business suit, tie loosened, face tight with anger. He looked at me, really looked at me, saw the tears, the ice cream, the devastation written all over my face. Where is he? Cole asked. His voice was ice. Gone, I said. He packed his things. He left. Where did he go? I don't know. Her place, I guess. Sienna, his assistant. That's her name. Sienna. Cole pulled out his phone, started typing, texting someone. His jaw was clenched so tight I could see the muscle twitching. You knew, I said suddenly. The realization hit me like a truck. You knew he was hiding something. That's why you never liked him. That's why you looked at him like that at the wedding. Cole stopped typing, looked up at me. I had him investigated 6 months ago, Cole admitted. The room went silent. Even Margot looked shocked. You what? I asked. He was acting strange, taking calls in other rooms, being secretive with his phone. I hired someone to look into it. They found hotel receipts, restaurant charges, times he said he was working late but his car was parked somewhere else. You knew, I repeated. You knew he was cheating and you didn't tell me. I didn't know for sure. I had suspicions. I had evidence that he was hiding something, but I didn't have proof of an affair, not concrete proof, and you were pregnant. I didn't want to upset you without being certain. So you just watched? Watched him lie to me? Watched him cheat? I was still investigating, Cole said. I was going to tell you. This week. I was going to show you everything and let you decide what to do. He opened his laptop, pulled up files, photos, spreadsheets, timelines. I know everything, Cole said. Where he goes, who he sees, how much he spends. I know about Sienna Drake, 24 years old, been working as his assistant for 8 months. Started sleeping with him 2 months after she was hired. He showed me the photos. Brett and Sienna at restaurants. Brett and Sienna at hotels. Brett and Sienna walking hand in hand through parks I'd never been to. I know he's been draining your joint account, Cole continued. $47,000 over the past 6 months, transferring it to an account in both their names. $47,000, our savings, money we'd been putting away for the baby, for emergencies, for our future. Gone. He opened a credit card in her name, Cole said, added as an authorized user on his cards, bought her jewelry, clothes, paid for vacations, all while you were home pregnant with his child. Each piece of information was another blow, another betrayal, another lie covered. I'm going to destroy him, Cole said. His voice was calm, matter of fact, like he was discussing the weather. I'm going to take everything from him. His way, his money, his reputation, everything. And when I'm done, he'll wish he'd never met you, never touched you, never hurt you. Cole, I started. No, Cole interrupted. This isn't about revenge. This is about justice. He abandoned his pregnant wife. He stole from you. He lied to you. He gets to face consequences. Margot was nodding. What do you need from us? First, we get that money back, Cole said. I'm calling Brett right now. He has 48 hours to return every cent to the joint account, or my lawyers will make his life very difficult. Cole dialed, put the phone on speaker. It rang 3 times before Brett answered. Hello? Brett sounded cautious. This is Cole Walsh, Cole said. Harper's brother. You have 48 hours to return the $47,000 you stole from your joint account with my sister. I didn't steal anything. That's my money too. Actually, it's not. Harper contributed 80% of that savings. She has records, receipts, proof. You took money that wasn't yours to fund your affair. You have 48 hours. Return it. All of it. And if I don't, Brett's voice had an edge to it now, defensive, angry. Then my lawyers will be very interested in talking to you about fraud, about theft, about a lot of things. 48 hours, Brett. Don't test me. Cole hung up. Brett called back immediately. Cole declined. Brett called again. Cole blocked his number. He won't return it, I said. He'll say it's his right, that he earned it. Then we'll take him to court, Cole said, and we'll win. He made another call, this one to someone named Travis. Travis, it's Cole. I need you to do something for me. Brett Sullivan's firm, they're seeking Series B funding, correct? They are, Travis said over speaker. We were their top prospect. Meeting scheduled for next week. Cancel it, Cole said, permanently. Can I ask why? He abandoned his pregnant wife, my sister, for his assistant. And Travis, make sure everyone knows why we pulled out. Make sure every venture capital fund in the city knows exactly what kind of man Brett Sullivan is. Consider it done, Travis said. Cole hung up, looked at me. That's just the beginning, he said. He wanted to know who I am. He's about to find out. I should have felt something, relief, gratitude, satisfaction. But I felt nothing, just empty, just numb, just broken. The baby kicked again, harder this time, reminding me she was there, that I had to keep going for her. I need you to stay with me tonight, I said to Margot. I can't be alone here. Not yet. I'm not going anywhere, Margot promised. And I'm moving you out of here, Cole said. Pack what you need. You're staying with me in Manhattan, or I'll stay here, whichever you prefer. But you're not alone anymore, Harper. You're not doing this alone. I nodded, couldn't speak. The lump in my throat was too big, the emotions too raw. Cole pulled me into a hug, strong arms, safe, familiar, the same arms that had held me when I fell off my bike at 6, when my prom date stood me up at 17, when our father died 3 years ago. We're going to be okay, Cole whispered. You and that baby, you're going to be okay, I promise. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. But right now, okay seemed impossible. Right now, surviving seemed hard enough. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, Margot in the guest room down the hall, Cole on the couch downstairs. Both of them there, both of them standing guard, like Brett might come back, like anything might happen. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. The pink lace bag. Brett's face when he realized I'd found it. The way he'd packed. Quick, efficient, like he'd been planning it, like he'd been waiting for an excuse to leave. At 3 a.m., I gave up trying to sleep. I grabbed my laptop, opened it, started searching. Can he abandon two women? Pathological liar signs, narcissist traits. Every article I read described Brett perfectly. The charm, the lees, the lack of empathy, the way he made everything about him. How had I not seen it before? I clicked on another article. Signs you're married to a narcissist. The list was like a checklist of our marriage. Makes you doubt your reality. Check. Lies without remorse. Check. Uses your vulnerabilities against you. Check. Leaves when things get difficult. Check. I closed the laptop. Couldn't read anymore. Couldn't see my marriage dissected like a case study. Couldn't face what I'd been living with for 3 years. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Sienna. We need to talk. I stared at the message. She had my number. Of course she did. Brett probably gave it to her. Probably told her I was crazy. Probably made me the villain in their love story. I didn't respond. Blocked the number. I had nothing to say to her. Nothing she could say would change anything. Morning came slowly, gray light through the windows, rain starting to fall, the kind of day that matched my mood. Dark, dreary, hopeless. I heard movement downstairs, coffee brewing, voices talking quietly, Cole and Margot, discussing me, discussing what to do, discussing my life like I wasn't capable of figuring it out myself. I got out of bed. My back screamed. The baby was pressing on my sciatic nerve. Every step sent shooting pain down my leg. But I walked anyway, down the stairs, into the kitchen. Cole and Margot stopped talking when they saw me. Morning, I said. My voice was rough, raw from crying, from not sleeping. How are you feeling? Margot asked. Like my husband left me 7 months pregnant for a 24-year-old assistant. So, living the dream. The sarcasm surprised them. It surprised me too, but it was easier than crying, easier than admitting how much it hurt. Cole slid a cup of decaf coffee toward me. We need to talk about what happens next. What happens next is I file for divorce, I said. I get a lawyer. I figure out how to support myself and this baby. What else is there? There's the house, Cole said. It's in both your names, but he's been making the mortgage payments. From our joint account, using money I contributed. True, but legally it gets complicated. We need a good lawyer, someone who specializes in high-conflict divorces. High conflict, I repeated. Is that what this is? When someone drains accounts and abandons their pregnant spouse? Yes, that's high conflict. My phone rang. Diane, my mother, I'd forgotten to call her. Forgotten to tell her. She was going to be devastated. I answered. Harper, sweetheart, I just heard. Cole called me. I'm coming over. Mom, you don't have to. I'm already in the car. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She hung up. Of course she was coming. Of course Cole had called her, and everyone was circling wagons, protecting me, taking care of me, like I was fragile, broken, incapable. Maybe I was. 20 minutes later, my mother burst through the door. She took one look at me and started crying. My baby, she said. My sweet girl. How could he do this to you? Mom, I never liked him. I tried to like him. For you, but there was always something off. Something wrong. Your father saw it too. He told me at the wedding. He said Brett had dead eyes. Dad had been right about so many things, and he wasn't here to say I told you so. He wasn't here to protect me. He wasn't here to meet his granddaughter. That thought broke something in me. I started crying again. Huge, gulping sobs. My mother held me, let me cry. Let me break apart in her arms the way I'd done when I was a child. I canceled the baby shower, I managed to say between sobs. What? The baby shower. It's this Sunday. I have to cancel it. I have to tell 50 people that my marriage is over. That the father of my baby doesn't want us. Oh, honey, do you want me to call people? I can make the calls. I shook my head. No, I have to do it. I have to be the one. Because if I didn't do it myself, it wouldn't feel real. If I didn't say the words out loud, I could keep pretending, keep believing that maybe this was all a nightmare, that maybe I'd wake up and Brett would be there. Sorry, repentant, begging for another chance. But that wasn't going to happen. This was real. This was my life now. I sat at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, pulled up the guest list for the baby shower. 50 names, 50 people who'd RSVP'd yes. 50 people who were expecting to celebrate with me. I started typing. Subject, baby shower canceled. I stared at the words. So stark, so final. Body, due to unforeseen circumstances, the baby shower scheduled for Sunday has been canceled. Thank you for your understanding. Short, impersonal. It told them nothing and everything at the same time. I typed the first email address, hit send, watched it disappear into the internet. One down, 49 to go. How do you tell 50 people your marriage is over? I said out loud. One email at a time, delete, retype, delete, send. Margot put her hand on my shoulder. You don't have to do this right now. Yes, I do. If I don't do it now, I never will. So I kept going. Email after email, send, each one a little death, each one an admission, each one a public acknowledgement that my marriage had failed, that I'd failed. By the time I finished, my hands were shaking. My vision was blurry from crying. But it was done. All 50 emails sent. All 50 people notified. Responses started coming in immediately. Oh, Harper, I'm so sorry. If there's anything you need, please let us know. You're in our thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. Like that helped. Like that changed anything. One email stood out from my college roommate, Jennifer. I never liked him anyway. You deserve so much better. That baby is lucky to have you as a mom. I read it 3 times. Let the words sink in. That baby is lucky to have you as a mom. Was she? Was my daughter lucky? Her father didn't want her. Her mother was unemployed and broken. What kind of luck was that? Cole sat down next to me. He'd been on his phone all morning, making calls, sending texts, doing whatever it was he did when he was angry. I need to show you something, he said. He opened his laptop, pulled up a file. What is this? Everything I know about Brett's affair. Timeline, receipts, photos, all of it. He clicked through images. Brett and Sienna at dinner, at hotels, at the beach, at places I'd never been, places he'd never taken me. This one, Cole said, pointing to a photo. This was taken 3 months ago at the Bahamas. He told you he had a conference in Chicago, remember? I remembered. He'd been gone for 5 days, came back tan, said he'd gotten sun at lunch meetings. I'd believed him. God, I'd believed him. And this one, 2 months ago, Martha's Vineyard. He said he was visiting a client. More lies, more deception, more evidence that our entire marriage had been built on sand. Stop, I said. I can't look at anymore. Cole closed the laptop. I'm sorry, I know this is painful, but you need to know what we're dealing with, what he's been doing. So when we go to court, you're prepared. Court, I said. The word felt foreign, wrong. I'd never thought I'd be going to court against my husband, against the man I'd promised to love forever. We're going to need a good lawyer, Cole said. I have someone in mind, Victoria Cross. She specializes in cases like this. High-asset divorces with custody issues. I don't have high assets, Vaughn, I said. No, but I do, and I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. You and that baby. Cole, I can't let you. You're not letting me do anything. I'm choosing to help my sister, to protect my niece. That's not charity. That's family. My mother nodded. Let him help, Harper. Let all of us help. You don't have to do this alone. But I felt alone, even surrounded by people who loved me. Even with Cole's resources and my mother's support and Margot's friendship, I felt utterly, completely alone. Because at the end of the day, I was the one who'd have to face this. I was the one who'd have to rebuild my life. I was the one who'd have to explain to my daughter why her father didn't want her. The baby kicked. I put my hand on my belly, felt her moving. Strong, healthy, alive. I'm going to take a shower, I said. I need to think, to process. I walked upstairs into the bathroom, turned on the water. As hot as I could stand, stepped under the spray, let it wash over me. And then I did something I hadn't done yet. I sat down. Right there on the shower floor, fully clothed, let the water rain down on me, let it mix with my tears, let it wash away everything. I don't know how long sat there. Minutes, hours. Time felt meaningless. Eventually the water turned cold. I got out, dried off, changed into clean clothes, looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were red, my face was swollen, my body was foreign, huge, pregnant, changed. You're pregnant. You're not you anymore. Brett's words echoed in my head. He was right. I wasn't me anymore. I was different, changed, transformed by this baby growing inside me. But maybe that wasn't a bad thing. Maybe being me hadn't worked out so well. Maybe being someone new, someone stronger, someone who didn't need Brett Sullivan to survive. Maybe that was better. I walked downstairs. Cole, Margot, and my mother were still there, still waiting, still supporting. I want to see the lawyer, I said. Victoria Cross. I want to meet her. Today. Cole nodded, pulled out his phone, made the call. She can see you at 2. I'll drive you. 2 o'clock. 4 hours away. 4 hours to prepare myself, to figure out what to say, to start the process of ending my marriage. I sat down at the kitchen table. My mother made me toast. I forced myself to eat. The baby needed nutrition. Even if I didn't feel hungry, even if food tasted like ash, she needed me to eat. Margot sat across from me. I never liked him anyway, she said again. This time I almost smiled. Almost. You said that already. I'll keep saying it until you believe it. Until you stop blaming yourself. He's the one who cheated. He's the one who lied. He's the one who left. This isn't your fault. I wanted to believe her, but a small voice in my head kept whispering, maybe if you'd been different, maybe if you'd stayed thin, maybe if you'd been more fun, more exciting, more like Sienna. I can hear you thinking, Margot said. Stop it. Stop blaming yourself. How did you know? Because I know you. Because I know how women are trained to think, to make everything our fault. But this is all on him. My mother nodded. She's right. You gave that man everything, your love, your trust, your future, and he threw it away. That's his failure, not yours. I hope they were right. I hope someday I'd believe it. But today I just felt broken. Victoria Cross's office was in downtown Boston, glass and steel. The kind of building that screamed money and power. The kind of place I'd never thought I'd need to be. Cole drove. My mother sat in the back. We didn't talk much. What was there to say? The silence felt heavy, oppressive. We pulled into the parking garage, took the elevator to the 15th floor. The receptionist smiled. Professional, polished, like seeing devastated pregnant women was part of her daily routine. Mr. Walsh, Mr. Cross is ready for you. Conference room 2. We walked down a hallway, past offices with glass walls, past paralegals hunched over computers, past framed newspaper articles about Victoria Cross and her impressive win record. The conference room was large, mahogany table, leather chairs, a view of the harbor, and Victoria Cross. She was smaller than I expected. Maybe 5'3", but she radiated power, sharp suit, sharper eyes. She stood when we entered. Harper, she said, shook my hand, firm grip. I'm Victoria, please sit. Tell me everything. I sat, Cole on one side, my mother on the other, flanking me, protecting me. I told her everything. The pink bag, the confession, the 6 months of lies, the drained bank account, the text messages from Brett saying I wasn't me anymore. Victoria took notes. Her face didn't change. No shock, no sympathy, just professional assessment. How far along are you, she asked. 7 months, due in 8 weeks. And he knows this? Of course he knows. He was there at every doctor's appointment, every ultrasound, until he wasn't. When did the appointment stop? I thought back. 3 months ago, he said he was too busy at work. I believed him. Victoria nodded, made another note. The $47,000 he took. Do you have records showing your contributions? Yes, I made more than him for the first 2 years of our marriage. I put 70% of my salary into that account. Good, that helps. Massachusetts is an equitable distribution state, not community property, which means we can argue you're entitled to more than half based on your contributions. She pulled up something on her tablet, showed me numbers, projections. Based on his income and the fact that he has a trust fund, child support should be substantial, somewhere around $5,000 per month. 5,000, that was more than I made when I was working. But I need to warn you, Victoria continued, these cases can get ugly, especially when there's family money involved. His parents will likely hire their own lawyers. They'll fight for visitation. They'll try to paint you as unfit or vindictive. I'm not unfit, I said. I'm pregnant, not incompetent. I know that, but they'll try. They always do. We need to be prepared. Cole leaned forward. What do we need to do? Document everything. Every text, every email, every interaction. Keep a journal, dates, times of what was said. If he shows up drunk, if he misses a scheduled visit, if he makes threats, all of it. He hasn't even asked to see the baby, I said. When she's born, I mean. He hasn't asked about ultrasounds, about her health, about anything. That works in our favor, Victoria said. Shows abandonment, shows lack of interest. Judges don't like fathers who only want custody when it's convenient. She opened a file, the one Cole had sent her. The investigation. This is good work, she said to Cole. Very thorough. The affair timeline, the financial records, all of it. We can use this. She turned back to me. I need to ask you something difficult. Is there any chance he's not the father? What? No, of course he's the father. I had to ask. His lawyers will probably demand a paternity test. It's standard in contested custody cases. We should be prepared. The thought made me sick. That anyone would question whether this baby was Brett's. That anyone would think that I'd lie about something like that. There's something else, Victoria said. The prenup. You signed one before the wedding? I nodded. Brett insisted. His parents wanted it. They said it was to protect the family money. Do you have a copy? Somewhere. I never read it very carefully. Brett said it was just a formality. Victoria's expression hardened. Never sign something without reading it. But we'll deal with what we have. Prenups can be challenged, especially if there was coercion, or if circumstances have changed dramatically, like him draining joint accounts and abandoning you while pregnant. She made more notes, asked more questions about Brett's job, his family, his behavior, everything. An hour later, we were done. Victoria stood. I'm taking your case, she said. Cole Walsh doesn't lose. I don't lose. We're not starting with you. Something about her confidence made me feel lighter, like maybe I could survive this, like maybe I could win. What happens next? I asked. I filed divorce papers, demand return of the $47,000, request temporary support, and we start building our case for full custody. Full custody? Based on his abandonment and the affair? Yes. We push for full physical and legal custody with limited supervised visitation, at least until he proves he's stable and committed to being a father. Limited supervised visitation, meaning he'd only see our daughter a few hours a month, with someone watching, making sure he didn't hurt her, didn't disappear with her. It felt wrong and right at the same time. Wrong because daughters should know their fathers, right because fathers shouldn't abandon their pregnant wives. The filing will take a few days, Victoria said. Brett will be served papers at work. In front of colleagues, it sends a message. What message? That you're not backing down, that you're not the weak, abandoned wife he thinks you are, that you have resources and power, and you're going to use them. I like that. I like the idea of Brett being embarrassed, being served divorce papers in front of the people he worked with, the people he'd lied to, the people who'd probably heard him complain about his pregnant wife. We left Victoria's office. The sun was setting, the sky painted orange and pink. Beautiful. Wrong. How could the world be beautiful when mine was falling apart? My mother drove me home. Cole had meetings, work that couldn't wait. He promised to call later, to check in. At home, I walked through rooms that felt empty, foreign. This had been our home, Brett's and mine, but now it was just mine. And I didn't want it anymore. Didn't want the memories, didn't want the ghost of our marriage haunting every corner. I went to the nursery, sat in the rocking chair we'd bought together. The price tag was still attached. We'd been planning to remove it after the baby came, after we knew everything worked, after we were sure we'd keep it. Now I was sure of nothing. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Harper? A woman's voice. Young, crying. Who is this? Sienna, please don't hang up. I need to talk to you. I should have hung up, should have blocked the number, but curiosity kept me on the line. What do you want? I didn't know, she sobbed. I didn't know you were pregnant. He said you were separated. He said you'd been living apart for months. He said the baby wasn't his. The baby wasn't his. The lies just kept coming. He lied to you, I said. My voice was flat, empty. I know that now. He's cheating on me too, with another woman from the office. I found out yesterday. He's been seeing her for a month. A month. He'd been with Sienna for 6 months and already found someone new. I'm sorry he lied to you, I said. And I meant it. Not because I forgave her, but because I understood. I understood being lied to, being manipulated, being made to believe something that wasn't true. I lost my job, Sienna continued. HR found out about us. Ethics violation. Relationship between supervisor and subordinate. I'm 24. I have student loans, no savings, and now no job. Because of him. What do you want from me, Sienna? I don't know, maybe just to say I'm sorry, to tell you I didn't know, to warn you that he's not who he says he is. I know who he is, I said. I've known for a while. I just didn't want to admit it. If there's anything I can do, if you need me to testify or I'll let my lawyers, I said. Cut her off, I cut her off. I couldn't do this. Couldn't bond with my husband's mistress over our shared pain. Couldn't find solidarity in being discarded by the same man. I hung up, blocked the number, sat there in the rocking chair, in the nursery, surrounded by things meant for a baby who'd never know her father. Not really. The baby kicked, hard, like she was angry, like she knew something was wrong. I'm sorry, I whispered to my belly. I'm sorry I chose him. I'm sorry he's your father. I'm sorry for all of it. But sorry didn't fix anything. Sorry didn't change the past. Sorry didn't make Brett come back or make him want us or make any of this better. I just had to survive. One day at a time, one breath at a time, until I could figure out what came next. 3 days after meeting with Victoria, Brett was served. Cole called to tell, he was in a meeting, Cole said. His voice had that edge it got when he was pleased with himself. Conference room full of people. Process server walked right in. Brett Sullivan, you've been served. Everyone saw. I should have felt something, satisfaction, vindication, but I felt nothing, just empty. Good, which I managed to say. That's not all, Cole continued. Remember the funding meeting, the one we canceled? Yes. Word got around. Every venture capital fund in Boston knows why we pulled out. Brett's company is toxic now. No one wants to touch them. The partners are furious. They'll fire him? Probably. Give it a week. I hung up, sat there processing. Brett was about to lose everything. Job, reputation, money. All because he'd made choices. All because he'd chosen to leave and cheat and abandon his family. My phone buzzes, text from Brett. You got your brother involved. Really, Harper? This is between us. I type back. You made it between us when you drained our account and left me pregnant. I want to talk, face to face. Talk to my lawyer. Harper, please, can we just... I blocked his number. I was done. Done listening to his excuses. Done giving him chances to explain or apologize or make me feel guilty. The doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Cole was in New York. My mother was at work. Margot was at the hospital. I looked through the peephole. Ruth Sullivan, Brett's mother, standing on my porch in her designer clothes and her judgmental face. I almost didn't open the door, almost pretended I wasn't home. But she'd seen my car, knew I was here, and avoiding her would only delay the inevitable. I opened the door. "Ruth, may I come in?" She didn't wait for an answer, just walked past me into the house. She looked around, at the half-packed boxes, at the furniture we'd bought together, at the life I was dismantling piece by piece. "You're leaving?" she asked. "Moving, yes." "Where, Rish?" "That's not your concern." Her lips tightened. She didn't like being told no, didn't like being challenged. "We need to talk about my granddaughter," she said. "Your granddaughter?" "The baby. She's my granddaughter. I have rights." "You have no rights," I said. "You've never even asked about her. Never asked how the pregnancy was going. Never came to a single appointment or ultrasound. Because Brett said you were fine, that everything was fine. Did he also tell you he was sleeping with his assistant? That he drained our bank account? That he abandoned me 7 months pregnant?" Ruth's face flushed. "I'm sure there are two sides to this story." "There aren't. He cheated, he lied, he left. Those are facts, not opinions." "You're turning him against his family," Ruth said. Her voice was rising, getting shrill. "You're manipulating him, trapping him with this baby." "I'm 7 months pregnant. How do we know it's even Brett's?" The words were out before I could stop them. Cruel, designed to hurt, and they worked. Ruth's face went white, then red, then purple. "How dare you?" she hissed. "My son is a good man." "Your son abandoned his pregnant wife for his 24-year-old assistant. That's not good. That's cowardly." "Get out," I said. My voice was calm, steady. "Get out of my house. That is Brett's house too. And he chose to leave it. Now I'm choosing to ask you to leave. Get out, or I'll call the police." My mother's voice came from behind me. "You heard her. Leave." I hadn't heard her come in, hadn't heard the door open, but she was there, standing between me and Ruth, protecting me. Again. "Diane," Ruth said, "surely you can see reason." "I see a woman who raised a son who thinks women are disposable," my mother said. "I see a woman who's blaming the victim instead of holding her son accountable. I see a woman who needs to leave. Now." Ruth looked between us, at me, at my mother, at the united front we presented. "You'll regret this," she did. "You'll regret turning my son against his family." "No," I said. "I regret marrying him. I regret believing his lies. I regret wasting 3 years of my life. But standing up for myself, for my daughter, I'll never regret that." Ruth walked to the door, paused. "I'll be filing for grandparents' rights. Massachusetts law allows it. You can't keep me from my granddaughter." "Try it," my mother said. "See what happens." Ruth left, slammed the door behind her. The house shook with the force of it. I sat down. My legs were shaking. My hands were trembling. The baby was kicking frantically. Like she could feel my adrenaline, my fear, my anger. "She can't really file for grandparents' rights, can she?" I asked. "She can file," my mother said. "Whether she'll win is another story, especially given Brett's abandonment, especially given her behavior just now." I pulled out my phone, called Cole, told him everything, about Ruth's visit, about her threats, about grandparents' rights. "Let me handle it," Cole said. "I'll call Victoria. We'll file a restraining order if we need to. Ruth Sullivan doesn't get to terrorize you." After I hung up, my mother made me tea. Chamomile, decaffeinated, safe for pregnancy. I wrapped my hands around the mug, let the warmth seep into my cold fingers. "I can't believe this is my life," I said. 2 weeks ago, I was married, planning a baby shower, excited about becoming a mother. Now I'm filing for divorce, restraining orders, fighting with my mother-in-law. 2 weeks ago, you were living a lie," my mother said gently. "Brett was cheating, draining accounts, planning his exit. You just didn't know it yet. Now you know, and knowing is better than being blind." Was it? Right now, ignorance seemed blissful. Right now, I wished I'd never found that pink bag, never confronted Brett, never started this chain of events. But that was the coward's way out. That was staying in a marriage that was already dead. That was raising my daughter in a home full of lies. I'm going to fight, I said. For her, for me. I'm going to fight. I know you are, my mother said. You're stronger than you think, stronger than he ever gave you credit for. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened, everything that was still to come. My phone lit up. An email from Victoria. Divorce papers filed. Brett has been served. Expect a response from his lawyer within 30 days. Also filing motion for return of funds and temporary support. We'll keep you updated. It was happening, really happening. My marriage was ending, not with love or mutual understanding, but with lawyers and court dates and bitter fights over money and custody. I got out of bed, walked to the nursery, sat in the rocking chair, put my hands on my belly. I don't know how to do this, I whispered to my daughter. I don't know how to be a single mom, how to co-parent with someone who doesn't want to parent at all, how to explain to you someday why your father left. She kicked in response, strong, determined, like she was telling me I could do it, like she believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. We're going to be okay, I said, more to convince myself than anything. We're going to survive this, together. The clock read 3:30 in the morning. The house was silent, dark, empty except for me and the baby and the ghost of the marriage I'd thought I had. But somewhere in that darkness, there was a flicker of something. Not hope exactly, but determination, resolve. The knowledge that I'd survived worse, that I could survive this too. I rocked in the chair, back and forth, planning, thinking, preparing for whatever came next. Because ready or not, it was coming. The divorce, the custody battle, the rest of my life as a single mother. And I had to be ready. For her, for me, for the future we'd build together. Cole called the next morning, early, 7 a.m. I'd barely slept. I need to tell you something, he said, about Brett's living situation. I sat up in bed. What about it? He's been trying to rent an apartment in your neighborhood, walking distance from the house. My blood went cold. What? He's been calling landlords, trying to get a place close by. I'm guessing so he can watch you, check up on you, control you. That's stalking. Not legally, not yet, but it's definitely concerning. What do we do? I already did it, Cole said. His voice had that edge again, that satisfaction. Every landlord he called? They said no. How? I own 17 buildings in Boston through various shell companies, LLCs, investment groups. He doesn't know it, but he's been calling my properties. And my property managers have very clear instructions. No apartment for Brett Sullivan, ever. Cole? He ended up renting a place in Roxbury, 45-minute commute from his office, in a building with a broken elevator and a mold problem. I should have felt guilty, should have thought it was too far, too much. But I didn't. I felt relieved, grateful that my brother was using his resources to protect me. He wanted to stay close, Cole continued. Now he knows what boundaries feel like. After we hung up, I felt lighter somehow. Like knowing Cole was actively protecting me made breathing easier. I got out of bed, showered, dressed, tried to look human. The doorbell rang while I was making breakfast. Margot, with coffee and bagels in the morning newspaper. Have you seen this? She asked, held up the business section. There, page 3, a small article. Sullivan Tech Partners loses major funding deal. The article was brief. Sullivan Tech Partners had been seeking Series B funding. Their top prospect had pulled out. Industry insiders were speculating about the reason. The company's future looked uncertain. Cole did this? I asked. Cole did this, Margot confirmed, and he made sure everyone knew why. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. This is Travis, Cole's business partner. Just wanted you to know the word is out in the venture capital community. Brett Sullivan is toxic. No one will touch his company now. Cole asked me to spread the word. I was happy to oblige. I showed the text to Margot. Your brother is terrifying, she said, in the best possible way. She was right. Cole wasn't just supporting me. He was systematically dismantling Brett's life, and he was doing it with surgical precision. The doorbell rang again. I was getting more visitors than I'd had in months. A courier with a legal envelope. I signed for it, opened it, read Brett's response to the divorce filing through his lawyer, a man named Richard Collins. The letter was full of legal jargon, but the message was clear. Brett was contesting everything: the division of assets, the support payments, even the timeline of the marriage breakdown. He's claiming you abandoned the marriage, I read aloud, that I became distant and cold during the pregnancy. Margot grabbed the letter. Read it. Her face turned red. This is insane. He's the one who cheated. He's the one who left. His lawyer is arguing that my pregnancy caused emotional distance, that I prioritized the baby over our marriage, that he felt neglected. Of course he felt neglected. You were growing a human being. That's not neglect. That's biology. I called Victoria, read her the letter, waited while she processed. This is standard, she said, and they're trying to shift blame. Make you the bad guy. We expected this. They want shared custody, 50-50. Of course they do, but they won't get it. Not with his abandonment, not with the affair, not with draining the accounts. They're saying the $47,000 was his right to take, that it was marital property. It was, but taking it all without discussion during your pregnancy? That's financial abuse. We'll argue that in court. After I hung up, I felt drained, exhausted, like fighting was taking more energy than I had. Margot made me sit down, eat. The bagel tasted like cardboard, but I chewed anyway, swallowed anyway. The baby needed food. My phone rang, Sienna's number. I'd blocked it, but she was calling from a different number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Harper? She was crying again. What do you want, Sienna? I'm sorry to keep calling, but I thought you should know. Brett's been fired. What? The partners called him in this morning. Told him he was done. They can't have the negative publicity. Can't have the scandal. He cleaned out his desk an hour ago. Brett fired. The man who'd built his identity around his career, who'd missed family dinners for client meetings, who'd prioritized work above everything else, unemployed. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. Not for him, but for the mess all of this had become. There's something else, Sienna said. He's blaming you, telling everyone you're the reason, that your brother destroyed his career, that you're vindictive and cruel. Of course he was. Of course he couldn't take responsibility, couldn't admit that his choices had consequences. Thank you for telling me, I said. Harper, if you need me to testify about the affair, about how long it was going on, about the lies he told me, I'll do it. Why would you do that? Because he used both of us, and he deserves to face consequences. I thanked her, hung up, told Margot everything. Brett Sullivan is a special kind of stupid, Margot said, cheating on his pregnant wife, with his subordinate, at a company that takes ethics seriously. What did he think would happen? He thought he'd get away with it. He always has before. Before? The words slipped out before I could stop them, before I could think. There were others, I admitted. I never had proof, but there were signs, late nights, unexplained charges, times his stories didn't quite add up. I didn't want to see it. Margot's face softened. Oh, honey. I was so stupid, so blind. I wanted the marriage to work so badly that I ignored all the red flags. You weren't stupid, you were hopeful. That's not the same thing. But it felt the same. It felt like willful blindness, like choosing comfort over truth. The baby kicked, hard, reminding me she was there, that I had to stay focused, stay strong for her. I need to do something, I said. I can't just sit here thinking about all the ways I failed. You didn't fail, Margot said firmly. He failed. He failed you. He failed your marriage. He failed that baby. This is not on you. I wanted to believe her, but the voice in my head kept whispering, if you'd been different, better, prettier, more fun, maybe he would have stayed. Let's go for a walk, Margot suggested. Fresh air, movement. It'll help. We walked through the neighborhood, past houses where families lived, where marriages worked, where fathers didn't abandon pregnant wives. I tried not to be bitter, tried not to hate everyone who had what I'd lost. But it was hard. Everything was hard. Back at the house, there was another envelope, hand-delivered, from Victoria's office. I opened it, read, felt my stomach drop. Ruth Sullivan has filed for grandparents' rights, I read. She's claiming I'm attempting to alienate her from her granddaughter, that I'm unfit due to emotional instability. Oh, emotional instability, because I was upset that my husband cheated and left me pregnant. Call Victoria, Margot said. I did, put it on speaker. I saw the filing, Victoria said. It's weak. She hasn't met the baby, hasn't shown any prior involvement, has no evidence of unfitness. Judge will likely deny it. But she can still file, still drag me through court. Unfortunately, yes, it's her right, but it's going to backfire, badly, especially after what I'm about to tell you. What? Ruth was arrested yesterday. She violated a restraining order by showing up at your house. We don't have a restraining order. We do now. I filed it after Cole told me about her threats. It was served 2 days ago. She violated it by coming to your home. She spent 6 hours in jail before her lawyer bailed her out. Ruth, arrested. The woman who'd looked down on me since the day we met, who'd made comments about my job, my family, my worth in jail. There's more, Victoria said. Cole has been busy. Ruth and Brett's father belong to an exclusive country club. Memberships are expensive, prestigious, normally impossible to get. I know, Ruth mentioned it constantly. Cole sits on the board through one of his investment funds. He suggested they review the Sullivan membership, based on concerns about character and ethics. What happened? Their membership was revoked, effective immediately. Ruth's fundraiser gala next month, no venue, her weekly bridge games canceled, her entire social circle, suddenly very busy. Cole was destroying them, not just Brett, but his entire family, systematically removing them from the social circles they valued, the status they craved. It should have felt good, should have felt like justice, but it just felt empty, hollow, like winning a war I'd never wanted to fight. What happens next? I asked Victoria. We wait for Brett's lawyer to respond, for the court date to be set, for Ruth's grandparents' rights case to be thrown out. We wait and we prepare. Waiting, more waiting. My whole life had become waiting, waiting for the baby, waiting for the divorce, waiting for some kind of resolution, some kind of peace, but peace felt impossible. Justice felt hollow, and the future felt terrifying. All I could do was survive, one day at a time, until this nightmare ended. The call came 2 weeks later, middle of the night, 2 a.m. I woke up soaking wet. The bed was drenched. My water had broken. I grabbed my phone, tried to stay calm, tried to remember the birthing class instructions. But panic was rising, fast and fierce. I called Cole. It rang 4 times. 5, 6. Finally, he answered, groggy. Harper, what's wrong? My water broke. The baby's coming. I'm in Singapore. Business deal. I can try to get the first flight, but it's okay. I'm scared. Call Margot. Call your mom. Don't be alone. I'll get there as fast as I can. I hung up. Called Margot. Straight to voicemail. She was working overnight. Surgery rotation. Phone turned off. Called my mother. She answered immediately. Mom, my water broke. I'm on my way. 40 minutes. Can you wait that long? I don't know. The contractions are starting. Call 911. Get to the hospital. I'll meet you there. 911. Strangers. An ambulance. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. Brett was supposed to be here. Timing contractions. Holding my hand. Being my person. But Brett wasn't here. Brett was with Sienna. Or maybe someone new, someone younger, someone not pregnant. I called 911. The dispatcher was calm, professional. How far apart are the contractions? I don't know. 5 minutes? Maybe less? Is this your first baby? Yes. Is anyone with you? No, I'm alone. Alone, the word echoed. I'm alone. I'm doing this alone. The ambulance arrived fast, paramedics at my door, asking questions, moving me to a gurney, loading me into the back. The hospital was bright, too bright, fluorescent lights buzzing, wheelchair wheels squeaking on linoleum floors, nurses' voices, calm, efficient. They'd seen this before, done this before. For them, it was routine. For me, it was the scariest moment of my life. They took me to a room, labor and delivery, helped me into a gown, hooked me up to monitors. The baby's heartbeat filled the room, fast, strong, steady. A nurse came in, young, kind eyes. Is your partner coming? No, he's not. He's not coming. Her face softened. She'd seen this before too. Women alone, women abandoned, women giving birth to babies whose fathers couldn't be bothered to show up. Your mom is on her way, I said. She should be here soon. That's good. You'll have support. That's what matters. Contractions hit. Hard. Like someone was trying to split me in half. I gripped the bed rail, breathed through it, like they'd taught in class. In, out, in, out. You're doing great, the nurse said. I wasn't doing great. I was terrified, in pain, alone. Another contraction, stronger, longer. I couldn't breathe through this one. I screamed. That's okay, the nurse said. Scream if you need to, whatever helps. More nurses came, checked my dilation. 4 centimeters, 6 more to go. Time became meaningless. Minutes, hours, all blending together in waves of pain. My mother arrived, rushed in, still in her work clothes. She grabbed my hand, squeezed. I'm here, baby. I'm here. It hurts. I know, but you're strong. You can do this. Another contraction. I squeezed her hand so hard I thought I'd break it. She didn't complain, just breathed with me, coached me through it. Do you want an epidural? The nurse asked. Yes, please. Yes. The anesthesiologist came, explained the procedure. I didn't care. I just wanted the pain to stop. The needle went in. Minutes later, blessed relief. The contractions continued, but I couldn't feel them. Could finally breathe without screaming. Better? My mother asked. So much better. I closed my eyes, tried to rest, but every time I did, I saw Brett's face, heard his voice. I'm not ready to be a father. He should be here, I said. Out loud this time. I know, my mother said. He should be here holding my hand, timing contractions, being excited, being scared, being part of this. He should, but he's not. And that's his failure, not yours. Will she ask about him when she's older? Will she wonder why her father wasn't there when she was born? Probably. And when she does, you tell her the truth, that you were here, that you were strong, that you chose her, even when he didn't. More time passed. The nurse checked again. 8 centimeters. Almost there. My phone rang. Cole. I'm at the airport. 10-hour flight. I'll be there as fast as I can. It's okay. Mom's here. Is Brett? No, he's not here. And I don't want him here. Okay, I'll call when I land. You've got this, Harper. You're the strongest person I know. I hung up. Didn't feel strong. Felt exhausted, terrified, overwhelmed. The contractions were getting stronger. Even through the epidural, I could feel pressure. Building, intense. It's time, the nurse said. Let's have a baby. The doctor came in. More nurses. Everyone moving with purpose. Efficiency. On the next contraction, I want you to push, the doctor said. Push. Breathe. Push. Breathe. Over and over. My mother counted, encouraged, stayed with me. I can see the head, the doctor said. One more big push. I pushed, used every ounce of strength I had left. Pushed for my daughter, for her future, for both of us. And then she was here. Crying, pink, perfect. It's a girl, the doctor said. Healthy, beautiful, congratulations. They placed her on my chest. Warm, wet, squirming. My daughter, my Emma. I looked at her face, so small, so perfect. 10 fingers, 10 toes. A shock of dark hair. Brett's nose. My eyes. Hi, baby, I whispered. Hi, Emma. I'm your mom. I'm here. I'm always going to be here. The nurse leaned in. What's her name? My phone buzzed. Text from Brett. I could see it from where I lay. If it's a girl, name her Eleanor, after my grandmother. Eleanor, his grandmother's name, his family's name, his choice, but he'd given up the right to choose. He'd given up the right to be part of this. Her name is Emma Rose Walsh, I said clearly. W-A-L-S-H. My last name, not his. The nurse wrote it down. Emma Rose Walsh, my daughter, my choice. He doesn't get a vote, I said to my mother. He gave up that right when he left. My mother was crying, happy tears this time. She's perfect, Harper. Absolutely perfect. They took Emma to clean her up, weigh her, measure her. 6 pounds, 8 ounces, 19 inches long, healthy and perfect. When they brought her back, wrapped in a pink blanket, I couldn't stop staring. This tiny human, this person I'd grown inside me, this daughter who was mine. The door burst open. Cole, still in his suit from Singapore, tied askew, he must have run from the airport. "I'm here," he said breathlessly. "I'm here. I made it." He looked at me, at Emma. His face softened. "Can I?" he asked. I nodded, let him hold her. Watched as my brother, the ruthless businessman, melted at the sight of his niece. "Hi, Emma," he whispered. "I'm your Uncle Cole. I'm going to teach you to be strong, to be brave, to never let anyone make you feel less than you are." He looked at me. "You did it, sis. You did it alone. You're amazing." "I had help," I said. Looked at my mother. "I had Mom." "And you'll always have us," Cole said. "Both of us. Always." My phone buzzed again. More text from Brett. "Did you have the baby? Is everything okay? What did you name her?" I didn't respond. Let him wonder. Let him wait. Let him feel what it was like to be shut out, to be left in the dark. Emma made a small sound, a coo, a shoi. She was falling asleep, safe in her uncle's arms. Loved, wanted, protected. This wasn't how I'd imagined her birth. Wasn't the family photo I dreamed of. But maybe it was better. Maybe this was what family really looked like. Not perfect, not traditional, but real, present, chosen. "Welcome to the world, Emma Rose Walsh," I whispered. "It's messy. It's complicated. It's not perfect, but you're loved. So very loved." And in that moment, despite everything, despite Brett's absence and the pain and the fear, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. 6 months passed in a blur. Emma grew, laughed, started teething, kept me up all night and filled my days with a love I'd never imagined possible. I'd moved into Cole's penthouse, the guest wing, 3 bedrooms, a view of the harbor, more space than Emma and I needed. But Cole insisted. "Stay as long as you want," he'd said. "Forever if you want." I'd hired a nanny for daytime, Maria, 55, kind, experienced. She took care of Emma while I worked, because I was working again. Cole had offered me a job, marketing director for his company, real responsibility, real salary, not charity, work I'd earned. "I need someone who knows how to sell the impossible," Cole had said. "You convinced yourself into Mary Brett Sullivan. That's expert-level marketing." I'd laughed. First real laugh in months. Now I sat in my office. Emma's photo on my desk. Emma's portable crib in the corner for days when I worked late. My laptop open to a presentation I was building. My phone rang. Victoria. "We have a court date," she said. "Custody hearing, 6 weeks from now." 6 weeks. After all this time, all this waiting, finally a date. "Brett will be there?" I asked. "He has to be. His lawyer will present his case. We'll present ours. The judge will decide." "What are our chances?" "Good. Very good. He abandoned you, drained accounts, missed the birth, hasn't shown consistent interest in Emma. We have everything we need." "He's been texting," I said, asking about her, sending money to the child support account Victoria set up. Minimum amount, and only after we threaten court action. That's not a devoted father. That's someone checking boxes to look good for the judge. After we hung up, I sat there processing. 6 weeks until I knew. Until I had legal protection, legal custody, legal certainty. Brett's voicemails had piled up. 23 messages, all variations of the same theme. I made a mistake. "I want to meet my daughter. Please, Harper, can we talk?" I hadn't responded to one, hadn't given him the satisfaction. Sienna had stopped calling. moved to another city, another cafe, a job, another life. I hoped she'd learn, hoped she'd find someone who valued her, who didn't lie. But Ruth was another story. She'd escalated, filed for grandparents' rights, hired a private investigator to follow me, taken photos of me and Cole and Travis, tried to paint some inappropriate picture. Cole's security had caught the investigator. We'd filed a restraining order. Ruth had violated it, shown up at Emma's pediatrician appointment. She'd been arrested. Again. Charges filed. Her lawyer was scrambling. And her social circle? Gone. The country club membership, the fundraiser gala, the weekly bridge games, all of it. Canceled, revoked, ended. Cole had been systematic, thorough. He'd destroyed their social standing piece by piece. I should have felt guilty, but I didn't. They'd chosen this. Ruth had threatened me, stalked me, tried to take my daughter. Actions had consequences. My office door opened. Travis, Cole's business partner and CFO. "Got a minute?" he asked. "Sure." He sat down, looked nervous, unusual for him. "I wanted to ask you something," he said. "Personal." "Okay. Would you like to have dinner with me, as in a date?" I blinked, stared. A date. Travis was asking me on a date. I started, stopped. "I don't know if I'm ready." "That's fair. But I wanted to ask. Put it out there. No pressure, no expectations. Just, if you ever want to try, I'm interested." He left before I could respond, left me sitting there processing. A date. The idea felt foreign, wrong. I was still legally married, still fighting a custody battle, still healing from Brett's betrayal. But someday, maybe someday I'd be ready. Maybe someday I'd want to try again. Just not today. Cole knocked on my doorframe. "Ready for the strategy meeting?" Victoria was coming over to prep for the custody hearing, to go over our case, to make sure we were ready. We met in Cole's conference room. Victoria spread files across the table. Photos, timelines, evidence. "This is what we're presenting," she said. "Brett's pattern of abandonment, the affair timeline, the drained accounts, his failure to attend the birth, his sporadic contact with Emma." She showed us the visitation log. Brett had been granted supervised visitation, 2 hours per month. He'd shown up twice in 6 months. Both times he'd seemed uncomfortable, distant, like he didn't know what to do with a baby. "The judge will see this," Victoria said. "We'll see a father who's not committed, not present, not reliable." "What about Ruth?" I asked. "Her grandparents' rights case is weak. She has no prior relationship with Emma, has been arrested twice, has violated restraining orders. Judge will deny it." "You're sure?" "Nothing is certain in family court." "But yes, I'm as sure as I can be." After Victoria left, I went to check on Emma. Maria had her in the nursery, playing with blocks. Emma saw me and smiled, that gap-toothed grin that made everything worth it. "Mama," she said, her first word, "Mama." I scooped her up, held her close, breathed in her baby smell. Powder and milk and innocence. "I love you," I whispered. "More than anything, more than everything." My phone buzzed, text from Brett. "Can I see her, please? I'm her father." I stared at the message. He was her father, biologically, legally. But being a father was more than DNA. It was showing up, being present, choosing your child every day. Brett hadn't done that. He'd chosen Sienna, chosen escape, chosen himself. I typed back, "Supervised visitation is next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Don't be late." He responded immediately. "Thank you, I won't." But I knew better. Knew he probably would. Knew he'd find an excuse, a work commitment, a scheduling conflict, something more important than his daughter. That night I couldn't sleep. I sat in the rocking chair in Emma's room, watched her sleep, so peaceful, so innocent. She didn't know her father was a stranger, didn't know her grandmother was threatening us, didn't know any of it. And I was grateful, grateful for her ignorance, for her innocence, for the fact that she was too young to understand. But someday she'd ask, someday she'd want to know why. why her father left, why he wasn't there, why he chose not to be part of her life. And I'd have to tell her, have to find words to explain the unexplainable, have to make sense of the senseless. I'll protect you, I whispered to her sleeping form. As long as I can, as much as I can, I'll protect you from the truth until you're strong enough to handle it. Cole appeared in the doorway, quiet, watching. She's beautiful, he said. She is. You're doing amazing, you know. Single ma, full-time ma, fighting a custody battle. You're incredible. I don't feel incredible. I feel exhausted. That's parenthood, but you're doing it. You're surviving, you're thriving. Am I? Some days I'm not sure. You are. Look at her. Look at this life you've built. You did that. Not Brett, not anyone else. You. He was right. I had built this life, this future, this safety for my daughter. And I'd keep building, keep fighting, keep protecting her, no matter what it took, because she was mine, my daughter, my Emma Rose Walsh, and nothing, absolutely nothing, would take her from me. The custody hearing was scheduled for 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. I dressed carefully. Conservative suit, hair pulled back, minimal makeup, professional, competent. Not the emotional wreck Brett's lawyer would try to paint me as. Emma stayed with Maria. She was too young to be in court, too young to witness this. Cole drove. Victoria met us at the courthouse. She looked sharp, ready for battle. Remember, she said, stay calm. Don't engage with Brett. Don't react to Ruth if she's there. Let me handle everything. We walked into the courtroom. Brett was already there, with his public defender, a young man who looked fresh out of law school, nervous, inexperienced. Brett looked worse than I'd expected, thinner, older. His suit was off the rack. Nothing like the designer clothes he used to wear. His hair needed cutting. He looked diminished. Ruth sat behind him, glaring at me with undisguised hatred. Her lawyer sat next to her, preparing for her separate grandparents' rights hearing scheduled after mine. Judge Patricia Hartwell entered. Everyone stood. She was in her mid-50s, gray hair pulled into a bun, sharp eyes that missed nothing. Please be seated, she said. We're here today for the matter of Walsh versus Sullivan. Child custody determination for Emma Rose Walsh. Age 6 months. Victoria stood. Your Honor, Victoria Cross representing Harper Walsh. Brett's lawyer stood. Michael Torres representing Brett Sullivan. Let's begin, Judge Hartwell said. Ms. Cross, you may present your case. Victoria was brilliant, methodical. She presented the timeline, the affair, the abandonment, the drained accounts, Brett's absence at Emma's birth, his sporadic visitation record. She showed photos. Brett and Sienna at restaurants, at hotels, timestamps showing when he was supposed to be working late. Mr. Sullivan was having an affair for 6 months while his wife was pregnant, Victoria said. He drained their joint account of $47,000. He moved out when Mrs. Walsh was 7 months pregnant. He did not attend the birth of his daughter. In 6 months, he's shown up for supervised visitation twice. This is not a committed father. This is a man who wants the title without the responsibility. Brett's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client admits he made mistakes. He's human. He panicked when faced with fatherhood. But he wants to be in his daughter's life now. He's seeking joint custody. Joint custody? Judge Hartwell looked skeptical. Based on 2 visits in 6 months? He's been prevented from seeing her more. Ms. Walsh has made it difficult. Objection, Victoria said. Mr. Sullivan has had court-ordered supervised visitation available every month. He chose not to use it. Judge Hartwell looked at Brett's lawyer. Do you have evidence that Ms. Walsh prevented visitation? No, Your Honor, but the circumstances are that your client chose not to show up. That's not prevention. That's choice, Brett's lawyer sat down. Deflated. Mr. Sullivan, Judge Hartwell said, would you like to test him? Brett stood, walked to the witness stand. He looked at me. I looked away. Mr. Sullivan, his lawyer began, can you explain what happened? Why you left your wife when she was pregnant? I panicked, Brett said. I wasn't ready to be a father. I made a mistake. And now? Now I want to be in my daughter's life. I want to be her father. Victoria stood. May I cross-examine, Your Honor? Please do. Victoria approached Brett, smiled. It wasn't friendly. Mr. Sullivan, you said you panicked. Is that why you had an affair for 6 months? I, it was a mistake. A 6-month-long mistake? That's quite the panic attack. Objection, Brett's lawyer said weakly. Sustained, Judge Hartwell said, but she looked amused. Let me rephrase, Victoria said. You were having an affair while your wife was pregnant, correct? Yes. You drained $47,000 from your joint account, correct? That was my money too. You took it without discussion, while your pregnant wife was dependent on that money, correct? Yes. You didn't attend the birth of your daughter, correct? I wasn't invited. You were texting name suggestions while your wife was in labor. Correct? Brett went pale. How did you suggested the name Eleanor for your grandmother, even though you had chosen not to be there, even though you had abandoned your wife and unborn child. You still felt entitled to name her. Is that correct? I wanted to be involved, but not involved enough to actually be there. Not involved enough to show up for supervised visitation. You've seen Emma twice in 6 months, correct? I've been busy. Too busy for your daughter, but not too busy for your mistress. Not too busy for your social life. Not too busy for everything else. Just too busy for Emma. Brett's face was red. That's not fair. Fair? Let's talk about fair, Mr. Sullivan. Is it fair that you told your wife she wasn't herself anymore because she was pregnant? Is it fair that you stole money earmarked for your daughter's future? Is it fair that Emma Rose Walsh doesn't have a father because you decided fatherhood was too hard? Objection, Brett's lawyer stood. Withdrawn, Victoria said. No further questions. Brett stepped down. He looked shattered. Good. Oh, Your Honor, Victoria said. We're requesting full physical and legal custody for Ms. Walsh, with supervised visitation only, 2 hours monthly, until Mr. Sullivan proves he can commit to his daughter. Judge Hartwell made notes. Mr. Torres, do you have anything to add? Your Honor, my client deserves a chance. He made mistakes, but he's trying to make amends. By showing up twice in 6 months? Judge Hartwell looked unimpressed. The next hearing was Ruth's, her grandparents' rights case. Her lawyer presented their argument. Ruth had a right to see her granddaughter. Blood relation, family bonds. Victoria destroyed it in minutes. Mrs. Sullivan has never met Emma, not once. She demanded a DNA test when Ms. Walsh was pregnant. She's been arrested twice for violating restraining orders. She hired a private investigator to stalk Ms. Walsh. This isn't about grandparent rights. This is about control. Ruth's lawyer tried to argue, but the evidence was overwhelming. Ruth took the stand, tried to defend herself. I'm her grandmother, Ruth said. I have a right to know my granddaughter. Victoria approached. Mrs. Sullivan, you've met Emma how many times? I haven't, because Harper won't let me. Ms. Walsh has a restraining order against you, because you violated the first one, because you showed up at her home making threats. Correct? I was concerned for my granddaughter. So concerned that you called her paternity into question. So concerned that you told Ms. Walsh she was manipulating your son. So concerned that you got yourself arrested? Ruth's face went purple. My son is a good man. Your son abandoned his pregnant wife. Your testimony reveals why he thought that was acceptable. Step down, Mrs. Sullivan. Judge Hartwell looked furious. Mrs. Sullivan, your son abandoned his pregnant wife. You've shown no interest in your granddaughter except to question her paternity and harass her mother. Your grandparents' rights petition is denied. And if you violate the restraining order again, you'll face jail time. Is that clear? Ruth stood, face red. This is outrageous. You can't. I can, and I did. Sit down. Ruth sat, looked like she wanted to explode. Judge Hartwell turned to our case. I've heard enough. Here's my ruling. Full physical and legal custody to Harper Walsh. Mr. Sullivan will have supervised visitation, 2 hours per month. He can petition for more after he demonstrates 6 consecutive months of consistent visitation. Child support is set at $5,000 per month based on his previous income and his trust fund. All legal fees are Mr. Sullivan's responsibility. $5,000 per month, more than I'd made working. Furthermore, Judge Hartwell continued, Mr. Sullivan's trust fund will be garnished for child support payments to ensure consistent payment. Brett's face went white. Do you understand these terms, Mr. Sullivan? Yes, Your Honor, Brett whispered. Ms. Walsh? Yes, Your Honor. Then we're adjourned. The gavel struck. It was over. I had full custody, legal protection, everything I'd fought for. Victoria hugged me. We won. Complete victory. Cole was grinning. Told you. Cole Walsh doesn't lose. We walked out of the courtroom. Brett tried to approach. Security stopped him. Harper, please, can we talk? I looked at him. Really looked at him. At the man I'd married. The man who'd destroyed our family. No, I said, talk to my lawyer if you have questions about visitation. I want to see Emma, be part of her life. Then show up, consistently, prove you mean it. But I'm done believing your words. I need to see actions. I walked away, didn't look back. Outside, the sun was shining, bright, warm, the beginning of something new. Cole put his arm around my shoulders. Proud of you, sis. Thank you for everything, for the lawyers, the support, the systematic destruction of Brett's life. He laughed. That wasn't just for you. That was for Emma. No one messes with my niece's future. Did you really blacklist him from every venture capital fund in America? Not just America. Globally, I have reach. That's terrifying. That's protection. That's making sure he understands there are consequences. That's making him regret everything. And he did regret it. I could see it in his face, in the way he'd looked at me in court, in the desperate voicemails he left. But regret didn't fix anything. Regret didn't undo the damage. Regret didn't make him a father. Only consistent action could do that. And I wasn't holding my breath. 12 months later, Emma's first birthday party, my apartment, not Cole's penthouse, mine. It was small, 2 bedrooms, in a safe neighborhood, with a park nearby and good schools and everything Emma needed. I'd saved, put away money from my salary. Cole had helped with the down payment. But the mortgage was mine, the furniture was mine, this life was mine, the apartment was full of people. Cole, my mother, Margot, Travis, Victoria had even come. Friends from work, other moms from the park. Emma sat in her high chair, cake all over her face, laughing, happy, oblivious to everything that had brought us here. Brett's supervised visitation record showed up in my email every month. The court kept track. The first 6 months had been sporadic. Once, maybe twice. Then he'd stopped coming entirely. His child support came through, automatically. Garnished from his trust fund, but he didn't call, didn't text, didn't ask to see her. His parental rights were intact, legally, but practically, he'd chosen to be absent. Emma didn't ask about him, couldn't yet. She was too young. But someday she would, and I'd have to answer. Dada? She'd said once, pointing at Cole. No, baby, that's Uncle Cole. Dada? Dada isn't here right now. It broke my heart, but it was the truth, age-appropriate truth. Ruth had tried to reach out, through lawyers, through my mother, asking for a chance, asking to meet Emma. I'd said no, the restraining order was still active. And even if it wasn't, I didn't trust her. Didn't believe she'd changed. Maybe someday. When Emma was older. When she could decide for herself, but not now. The party wound down. Guests left. Emma fell asleep in my arms, exhausted from excitement. I carried her to her room, laid her in her crib, watched her sleep. Happy birthday, baby girl, I whispered. 1 year old. Can you believe it? A knock on my door. Travis. He'd stayed to help clean up. Need help with anything else? He asked. I think we're good. Thank you for staying. Harper, can I ask you something? Here it was again, the question he'd asked 6 months ago, the one I'd said no to. I know you said you weren't ready, Travis said. 6 months ago, and I respect that. But I wanted to ask again. Would you like to have dinner, just the 2 of us? I looked at him, really looked. He was kind, patient, Good with Emma. He'd been there, consistently, for months. I'm not sure I'm ready, I admitted. But maybe we could try. Coffee first? Something casual? His face lit up. Coffee sounds perfect. Whenever you want. No pressure. After he left, I sat on my couch, my apartment, my life, my choices. I pulled out my phone, checked my dating app, the one I'd downloaded and deleted 3 times, the profile I'd written but never activated. Single mom, marketing director. My daughter comes first. If that's a problem, swipe left. I stared at it, finger hovering over the delete button. But I didn't delete it, not yet. Maybe someday I'd be ready. Maybe someday I'd want to try. Just not today. My phone buzzed, text from Brett. How is she? The same text he sent every few months. Like clockwork, like checking a box. I sent a photo. Emma with cake on her face, smiling, happy. He didn't respond, didn't ask to visit, didn't ask about the party. Just nothing. I set the phone down, walked to my desk, opened the drawer. Inside, my wedding ring. Still there, taunting me. I picked it up, felt the weight of it, the symbol of promises broken, of a future that never was. Someday I'll pawn it, I said out loud. Maybe when Emma needs braces, maybe sooner. But not today. Today it stayed in the drawer, a reminder of who I'd been, who I'd become, how far I'd traveled. Cole called, late, after Emma was asleep. Great party, he said. Thanks to you, for everything. You keep thanking me. You need to stop. This is what family does. Are you asking if I'm staying? In Boston? At your company? Are you? I'm staying, I said. Not because I need to. Because I choose to. Because I built something here. Because this is home. Good. Because Emma needs her uncle. And I need my sister. And the company needs its best marketing director. After we hung up, I walked to Emma's room one more time. Checked on her. She was sleeping. Peaceful. Perfect. The ring still sits in that drawer, I whispered to her. Brett texts every few months. How is she? I send pictures. He doesn't ask to visit. I don't ask him to. I sat in the rocking chair. The one from the nursery in the house I'd shared with Brett. The one I'd kept when I moved. The one that held so many memories. Starting over felt impossible, but staying would have been worse. I chose myself. I chose you. And that made all the difference. Emma stirred, made a small sound, settled back into sleep. I thought about the past year, the pain, the fear, the fights, but also the strength, the growth, the realization that I was capable of more than I'd ever imagined. Brett had meant to break me, meant to leave me helpless, dependent, desperate. Instead, he'd freed me from a marriage built on lies, from a future that would have been hollow, from a life where I was never enough. Now I was enough. For Emma, for myself, for this life I'd built from the ashes of my marriage. Cole had destroyed Brett's career, his social standing, his professional network, had made him regret everything. But I'd done something more powerful. I'd survived, I'd thrived, I'd built a life that didn't need Brett Sullivan to be complete. That was the real victory. Not the court ruling, not the child support, not the custody agreement. The victory was standing here, in my apartment, with my daughter, living my life, making my choices, being happy. Emma Rose Walsh, we're going to be just fine, better than fine. We're going to be happy, and we are.